Sooner, everybody. My name's Harry James. You guys have stuck with me all summer long for the past couple of weeks. And now we'll do the final preview of the preview list for the Oklahoma Sooners, who last year, 12-2, 8-1 in the league, got the invite to the Big 12 Championship, took care of rival Texas in the Big 12 Championship. We'll talk about that and all much more about all OU Sooner football coming up next. Boomer Sooner 1982. Don't go away! Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name's Harry James. Now I'll talk about the Oklahoma Sooners. My team, the team that I care about, the team that I love. The Oklahoma Sooners play their home games on Owen Field. Last year, earned a 12-2 overall record, 8-1 league play. The 8-1 record does not include getting revenge over Big 12 rival Texas in the Big 12 Championship in Arlington. Won that one 39-27 at AT&T Cowboys Stadium over Texas in the Big 12 Championship, earning them the right to play as in the Orange Bowl, part of the college football playoff, where they were outshined by Alabama 41-31 in the Orange Bowl, part of the college football playoff. Speaking of Alabama, let's talk about the returning starters for Oklahoma. And if we're going to do that, quarterback, passing statistics, a lot of it's gone. Kyler Murray, gone. Baker Mayfield, gone. In comes a new guy in Jalen Hurts, an Alabama transfer. He's the former quarterback for Alabama. So his 2017 stats look like this for number one, Jalen Hurts. That's the number he'll wear at Oklahoma, by the way. Passed for 2,081 yards in the air in 2017. 17 touchdowns, 1 interception. His longest pass was from 78 yards. In the air, per ball game 2 years ago, he averaged 148.6 yards in the air. Played in 14 games in 2017. 28 as a starter. 2018, he was demoted to the backup quarterback behind Tua Tagovailoa. Still had a pretty decent year at quarterback, even in the reserve role. Did number one, Jalen Hurts. Last year, had 765 yards in the air, 8 touchdowns, threw 2 interceptions. His longest pass was from 54 yards out. He averaged 58.85 yards in the air per ball game. Played in 13 games in 2018 before transferring to Oklahoma. Now, the 765 and 8 touchdowns does include playing in a SEC championship second half, bringing them back against rival Georgia in the SEC championship game to set up to play Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl, part of the college football playoff. Now, helping Hurts learn part of the offense is not going to be easy. But you know what's going to make it easy is having a running game. And boy, does Oklahoma have a running game. Besides Jalen Hurts, who can run. there are 2 leading rushers that don't include him from last season. One of them, 26, Kennedy Brooks. The other one, the Sermonator. He preaches on Saturdays before the Sundays, and that's Trey Sermon. All right, we'll start with Kennedy. 119 yards for Brooks, or carries for Brooks last year, to go with 1,069 yards on the ground, 12 touchdowns. His longest run was from 86 yards out. He averaged 88.0 yards on the ground per ball game last year in 12 games for the Sooner Bows. The Sermonator, Trey Sermon, dad's a preacher, so he's a sermon too, right? He does the sermons on Saturday. His dad does it on Sundays. The one that does it on Saturdays, 164 carries for Trey, 972 yards on the ground, a couple of touchdowns. His longest run was from 77 yards out. He averaged 67.6 yards per ball game last year in 14 games. Now we'll talk about the receivers coming back. One of them, CeeDee Lamb, and TD Lee Morris. We'll start with CeeDee Lamb. 65 receptions last year for CeeDee. 1,158 yards in the air. 11 touchdowns. His longest reception, 86 yards out. Averaged 82.7 yards receiving last year in the game per game in 14 games for the Sooners. TD Lee Morris, 21 receptions last year, 457 yards in the air, 8 touchdowns. 65 was his longest catch of the season. He averaged last year 32.6 yards in the air, receiving per ball game in 14 games. Defensively, this is where Alex wants to make the biggest difference. That's Alex Grinch, the new defense coordinator. And boy, do they have this man to help him. All right? And I triple check this fact. Kenneth Murray, number 9, 155 tackles last season for the Sooners. 0 forced fumbles, 0 fumbles recovered, and 0 INTs for the linebacker from Texas. Played in 14 games. Number 911, Parnell Motley from DC Island. Parnell Motley, 63 yards, 63 tackles last year. 0 forced fumbles, 0 fumbles recovered, but 3 INTs last year as a defensive back in 10 games did the corner have. Their coach, Lincoln Riley, a 2005 grad from Texas Tech, and has been a Sooner since 2017 as the head coach of the Sooners. I'm sorry. All right, before we get to the coaching record, I want to say this, and this is really, really, really cool. Speaking of Texas Tech. If you're a teacher here in the state of Oklahoma, you get a discounted rate for the Texas Tech Oklahoma football game. I believe that is going to be right before Texas. So be sure to get online and check that out if you haven't yet. I saw it on Facebook. I'll repost it for all my teacher friends. Now back to the OU side. Are you ready for this? A coaching record? 24-4 for Lincoln Riley in, 28 games. Does have an 0-2 bowl record, but they're both college football playoff appearances. So that's not all bad, guys, when you really think about it. Between he and Stoops, they've combined for 8 South Division championships. Got one in 2000, 2002, 2003, 04, 06, 07, 08, and 2010. Took a couple of years off to the divisions. Now, they don't play with divisions anymore. They go as 1 versus 2. But when they brought the Big 12 championship back officially, Oklahoma finished first or second, and in this case, first, the last 2 years, in 2017 and 2018. For 2 more, what you would call division championships, if you want to call it that. Conference championships. Don't get confused here, guys. No ties here. Ready for this? There's 12 of them. 2000, 2002, 2004, 06, 07, 08, 2010, 2012, 2015, 16, 17, and 18. That's 15, 16, 17, 4 straight. Now, the 2010 one, or I guess the 2012 one, was a tie, technically tie, quote unquote, air quotes here, with Kansas State. Kansas, of course, at this time, they were not played in divisions. They were played on the field with 10 teams, and Kansas State came into Norman and won early in the season, and thus, both of them tying for the Big 12. Both of them tying with the same record, by the way, for the Big 12 championship. Kansas State, though, earning the right to play by winning the outright title. All right, guys, that will do it. I guess next week we will preview all of your college football games. Plus, we'll have a Houston football OU preview show. All that and more next week. That will do it for this week, though. You can catch all my videos, Boomer Sooner 1982, on the YouTube. Also on my Facebook account, Harry James Taylor, or on Twitter, @HypeManHarry. All right, guys, that'll do it. And Boomer Sooner, everybody. I'm out of here. Peace.